What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Blood Phantom 81. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the crypto trade of 2021 and why I think crypto is the trade of 2021. And not to mention, it's going to be one of the biggest wealth creators over this entire decade. It is only 2021, but you guys will see that over the next, 9 or 10 years, you will start to see a lot of millionaires as a result of crypto. Now, full disclaimer, I am not a massive crypto fanatic. I'm not that passionate about the projects. I don't act like I know a lot about the projects. I just know what I read from fellow YouTubers or anything else like that, right? Articles. That's pretty much the extent. I haven't done my share of research. What I am passionate about, however, is watching my account go from a small amount to a very large amount, and I think crypto is one of the best ways to do that. And so this video is actually somewhat inspired by a conversation that I had with another fellow YouTuber by the name of Ryan Giffen. And Ryan Giffen said something that was pretty funny. He said, stocks are boring. And so maybe he was joking, maybe he wasn't. But I think there's a lot of truth in that, actually. And so I found myself agreeing with that. And the reason why, relatively speaking, stocks are boring is because once you start to invest in something like this, where let's say from the bottom, which was on July 20th, all the way to the top, which was September 6th, that's about a 77%, increase in price. We're talking 7.7, not 17, but 7.7. And so I promise you that there are very few people that bought here and sold here. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. But this is a testament to the overall magnification of the moves here. Now, like, if you were to zoom out and you didn't know just how large these moves were, you could probably say, okay, this is just like a regular stock. Moves up and moves down sometimes. Sometimes it consolidates. Right here, we're beneath the 50-day moving average resistance. Now we're here using it as support. It's just a regular stock, right? Wrong. This is not a regular stock. Just today, from high to low, that's about an 18% drop, right? And so volatility cuts both ways. And when you zoom out, you realize this is the same thing as a stock, only it moves a whole lot more than a regular stock, right? And the good thing is that, similar to a stock as well, I truly think that cryptocurrency is susceptible to trends, and it is susceptible to sentiment such as fear and greed. And fear and greed is basically what makes the world go round. In the same way that birds migrate every once in a while, migrate in the winter, in the same way that ants move in certain directions based on how the colony is feeling or what the colony's objective is. I truly think that stocks and crypto and many markets move off of these same ideas, off of herd mentality, fear, and greed. So what we're looking at here is a chart of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, as I mentioned, dropped about 18%, and then found some support around here at the 50 and 200-day moving average. And so I would be ready to say that, like, I don't think it's going to go too much lower than here. If I wanted to look at more extended price targets, I'd probably zoom out, look at the 50-week moving average, for example. But if we do get there, that's going to be an absolute steal. And I've heard some pretty bearish calls with Bitcoin. The problem, in my opinion, is the amount of demand that we're going to catch around the 30s. And so that's why I don't really have like a super bearish outlook on Bitcoin, even though we did see, crazy days like today. Taking a look at the fear and greed index of Bitcoin. So yesterday we were at 79, which indicates extreme greed based on this indicator. And today we're now at 47. So that's an obvious, massive difference between yesterday and today. And that's obviously has to do with the really big drop that we saw. So we're at a more comfortable level in Bitcoin. I do want to talk about a quick lesson here, which is a lesson on consolidations. And so a lot of people have issues with technical analysis because they don't like that, X doesn't lead to Y all the time. What they don't realize is there's a lot of information in the way that X looks, right? So X can lead to Y or it can lead to Z. Now, what the heck do I mean by that? So consolidations don't have to break out to the upside or to the downside, even though technically this is a bearish ascending triangle, because the resistance is getting slimmer and slimmer, and the support is staying the same, meaning that selling pressure is increasing. This doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to break out to the downside. In the same way that here, back in 2018, we actually did break down to the downside, but that was not the case here in 2021. And if anything, we did see a bit of a bear trap here, because it looked like we were going to break down, but we actually caught a bid here, massive bullish engulfing, and then broke out of this range. And this right here was the moment where I was actually at my girlfriend's house and I started buying crypto on her account, and she had some already, but I started buying more because I was like, I think this is it. And I personally ended up doing some FOMO buys here. But guess what? I left this entire rally wishing that I had bought more at the lows. And two things here. One is because I was still anticipating a breakdown below. I did think we were going to break down to the downside. And so obviously once that happened, I only put a little bit of the cash that I had available. But number two, I did not have that much cash available. And at the time, all I had was margin. So I was not willing to take out that much more margin just to chase crypto here. And so I had to watch it climb, right? And it was agonizing towards the past month or so, right? Because you look at this and you say, these are life-changing gains. What would you do if you put, 20, 25, 30% of your net worth into something that increased by 30, 50, 60, 70%? I mean, these are life-changing gains. I'm actually looking for a property pretty soon here. And, I keep asking the question, like, how large of a down payment do I put, right? Because it's like the opportunity cost of moving money from my investing account to actual down payment on a house, it just sucks, right? Because that money is going to be tied up at that point, or else you do some kind of HELOC and then you have to pay higher interest on it, right? Like money that's tied up in an equity, unless it's a HELOC mortgage, is actually tough and annoying to access. And so it's just so much better to have my money in my brokerage account. And, I start to look at this and it's like, well, I was getting kind of close to 500K, right? And so I can't see these numbers below 400 again, right? Like it pissed me off. And honestly, like everything just becomes a new normal, right? Like 400K becomes a new normal. I can't see it below 400 anymore, right? That's why I started taking profits near the top. Once it hit 500, it might be the same thing, right? So I get that. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that, like, we're not talking about the difference between 400 and 450K here. I'm talking about the difference between 400 and 700K here, or 600K, or 550K had I gone heavier in crypto, right? And so that is the, textbook definition of chasing dollars, right? Not pennies. And so, yeah, I just got to work on my conviction a little bit more. I did end up buying more on this dip, and actually let's talk about what I ended up buying. And so I bought more Ethereum Classic. Honestly, one of the most beautiful looking cryptos right now. I do not think it's going to break below the 200-day moving average, and as we can see, it's sloping upwards. Found it as support once again, and now we're sitting at the 50-day moving average and just making a series of higher highs, higher lows, consolidated above it. I mean, this looks pretty dang nice. If you want to, compliment your girlfriend or your wife, just tell her she looks exactly like Ethereum Classic does on the 200-day moving average, and I promise you she would be so flattered. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I know that there's a lot of coins that look the same that I like personally. I know Litecoin, for example, unfortunately lost its 200-day moving average, but I do not think that's the end of the world. We have the 50-day right there catching support. And that's actually kind of the funny thing is after this drop, plenty of coins just retreated to their major moving averages, right? Bitcoin sitting at the 250. And then, as we mentioned, ETC USD sitting here at both the 200 and the 50, right? And so I started to go a little bit heavier recently. I don't know. We'll see tonight how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling angry or ambitious, I might go even heavier. But yeah, I'll wrap up with saying, how do I even say this? Again, this is not financial advice, but just me personally, I'm keeping an eye out for crypto. There's a special place in my portfolio, not my heart. There's a special place in my portfolio for crypto, and it's time I start taking it more seriously than I have been. And so yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.